Here, and just a few things before we get into the A1 series, the new Bravia OLED, just to reinforce our kind of key messages for our TV in 2017. So we've got three key pillars that we always talk about when it comes to our TVs. So number one, in picture quality. Number two, for design. And for 2017, we've got an evolution of the slice of living design that we had last year. So very much focusing more on materials, colours and finishes, making it match in with more interiors and more furniture focused. And we'll have a closer look at that when we have a look through the lineup in a few minutes' time. Also then, for user experience, we've got the evolution of Android TV, constantly updated, some great features of Android TV, and more updates coming the whole time as well. But when we look at what we did in 2016, the last time I was here with you guys, we talked a lot about HDR. And as we mentioned earlier, there wasn't a huge amount of HDR content widely available at that time. But in the last year, in 2016, we've seen a huge expansion of HDR content, from streaming services like Netflix and Amazon Video to Ultra HD Blu-rays as well. So that's really taken control and taken a lot faster than a lot of people were anticipating. Also for broadcasters, the standard has now been set for how they're going to broadcast high dynamic range content using HLG or hybrid log gamma. And for us, all of our TVs, all of our 4K HDR TVs will be updated to support hybrid log gamma. That includes 2015 models, 2016 and of course 2017 models. And that update will appear during 2017. And I guess the last piece of the jigsaw for HDR content is gaming. And back in November, PlayStation announced the PS4 Pro for 4K HDR gaming, but also an update for the PS4 to support 2K HDR gaming as well. And that ties in very nicely with our announcement that all of our 2K TVs support HDR for gaming, but also HDR for video from the built-in Netflix app as well. But it means customers will now be able to get all of their different types of content in HDR from films, shows, sports, and games as well. Now, with the expansion of HDR content, we're focusing towards that premium end of the market as well. And to get the real best out of all of the different content that's available out there, but particularly 4K HDR content, there's two elements that you need. So number one, a good processor, of course, to interpret that image to ensure that it looks as good as it possibly can. But also then, pairing that good processor with panel technology, either OLED, that we're introducing this year with the A1, but also a local dimming backlight system that we're featuring on new XE90, XE93, and of course the ZD9 as well. And that kind of sets out our strategy for this year. We've got a fantastic range of different offerings across the board, from HDR models, stepping up to 4K HDR, and then our 4K HDR premium lineup, which features X processors, either the new 4K HDR processor X1 or the X1 Extreme, combining them with that local dimming backlight with Extended Dynamic Range Pro, and of course the Bravia OLED X1 Extreme processor using that OLED display technology. So another quick look at the range. Of course we get to see all of these different models much up closer and hands-on in a short time, but I'd like to just spend a little bit more time explaining around the Bravia OLED A1 series. The concept behind it, for example, is that one-slate concept. What our designers and engineers were trying to do is really focus on the picture, eliminating all of the visible stands, the visible speakers, so really leaving nothing that will distract the eye from the image, making that the real focal point. And of course this is very difficult to achieve, it's not made easy, but thankfully we've got some of the best engineers and designers in the world working for us at Sony. And what we've come up with is, in order to eliminate the speakers, is the acoustic surface technology. So what we've done is change the idea and turn the whole screen into a speaker. And how it works is, we've got these actuators positioned on the back of the panel, bonded to the OLED panel, and what they do is they invisibly vibrate the panel to create sound waves. So, there's your actuator, there's the OLED panel, and as the actuators vibrate, they create these sound waves to give us audio. Now what the actuator will do is it will take care of the mid-range and the high-frequency tones. For those low bass tones, low frequencies, we have a subwoofer built into the kickstand on the back, so you get that very, very fully rounded audio quality. Now there's a number of advantages, not just from the design point of view of using acoustic surface technology. For example, because the sound is coming directly from the screen, it gives you that great connection between what you're seeing on the screen and what you're hearing as well. So the sound position matches the picture on the screen. What you'll also get as well, as an added bonus, is a very, very wide sound stage. So no matter where you're sitting, you get great audio quality. And that ties in really, really nicely with the wide viewing angle that you get from an OLED panel as well. And of course, picture quality is incredibly important, and we paired the X1 Extreme with that OLED panel technology. And the X1 Extreme has been designed to really leverage the best performance regardless of what type of panel it's paired with. So for example, ZD9 with backlight master drive, XE93 with slim backlight drive plus, and the A1 series with the OLED panel. And from our perspective, it's very important to process, and this is just a little bit of a trip back into the past to show how we've got unrivaled expertise in picture processing. Hopefully some of you guys will remember back in 1997 we introduced digital reality creation, and from that point we've been building and further improving our picture processing technology depending on what the video source is, so moving from standard definition the whole way through full HD into 4K and now 4K HDR, but also the display device as well, thinking back to the days of CRT, stepping through plasma, rear projection, LCD, 4K LCD, and now 4K OLED as well. And the X1 itself, as I said, maximises that performance from the panel. It uses a number of different analyzers, so not just a signal analyzer, which checks out what's happening with the input signal, but also a panel analyzer as well, to really understand the characteristics of each individual panel, combining all of that information to process that signal and then drive it out into the panel. And X1 has a number of extremely important technologies built into it. For example, object-based HDR remaster. Instead of looking at the picture as a whole to upscale the contrast, it looks at each object individually and then optimizes the parameters not just for each individual object, but also for the panel characteristics as well. Same idea with our very important dual database processing as well. So we've got a new database for noise reduction and a database for super resolution, or for detail in the picture. And what X1 can do is it can tell the difference between noise in a picture and what's detail in a picture, eradicate the noise and enhance the detail. And then finally, super bit mapping 4K HDR, eradicating color banding, so taking particularly from low bitrate content, which you're more likely to get color banding in, smoothing that out and ensuring that you get that very, very natural, true to life picture quality. So that's a little introduction to the A1 series, the ultimate immersive experience. We're talking about fantastic picture quality with X1 Extreme and OLED technology, combining that with the amazing acoustic surface technology and wrapping it all in that incredible one slate concept design to really give the customer a fantastic viewing experience in their sitting rooms.